Hey guys, so welcome to Monday live stream based on ketogenic dieting, low carb dieting, carnivore dieting, as well as intermittent and prolonged fasting, or just people who want to come that are adopting a omnivorous diet that are interested in finding out, how to fine tune their diet. Bruce is not going to be on for this Monday. Hopefully, he'll be on for next Monday. For those, sorry, Bruce is not going to be on. Sorry about that. I have it popped up on the screen here in case some funny business arrives. Yeah, Bruce, my brother from Brucey's All channel, will be on not today, but next Monday. So I'm going to keep the update that I did get from him as a surprise for next Monday. So there is a Patreon page that Dalai Lama just posted that is for ketogenic, carnivore, the fasting, or the low carb coaching one-on-one. So I'm using that community. I check in every day. I respond directly to any questions, and it's a new page, not a lot of Patreons. So as it grows and more questions happen, I will be doing reply videos to questions that are within the Patreon community, and it'll give us more one-on-one access. I've been trying, well, not trying, over the last 5 years after losing weight very successfully and easily on a ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting. I was very passionate about that, and it changed my life. And I did a lot of research into it, and I believe that it's scientifically sound, that it is a safe method. And in fact, in my opinion, looking at my research and nutrition and physical degeneration book that I put a lot of emphasis on, that what I am advocating on this live stream is something that approaches very closely to what is a human appropriate diet, understanding that yes, we do have individual variations and tolerances to certain food groups. If we look at Weston A. Price's research that is all published in that book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration, by modern standards, it would be what we would consider criticism, very, very restrictive diets with not a wide variety. Then they put doubt and fear, like, which could lead to nutritional deficiencies and all this stuff and craziness going on. So I kind of sat down and I did a few slides on a PowerPoint just to kind of say, okay, well, what exactly am I advocating here? So let's just jump into the presentation. These will be limited to an hour and a half, no matter how good the discussion is. An hour and a half after, we're cutting it short. Like usual, there'll be what I'm going to go through, some slides, some teachings, stuff to build on as well. I'll show every live stream, at least, that one video that I have archived from 5 years ago, ketogenic diet for beginners, so that if anybody's new here and has no idea what we're talking about, I'll suggest, go see that one first. If I see somebody pop up that we don't know and has questions and is open to doing these style of eating for health maintenance and weight loss, of course, that would be the priority. The newcomer, then we would start going back, really repeating ourselves. But it's a small channel. It's very, very slowly growing, and you guys who are returning week after week, yes, it's beneficial to have some repetition, but eventually we don't want it to just become like to a point where it's like, yes, we've heard this a million times, and people will lose interest. So we'll change course if a newcomer arrives. And anyways, the Patreon page was because I was repeating myself. I'm on Messenger trying to help this person, and then it's like, it's just always the same 20 questions, I think, before you kind of get the point. The same 20 questions that show up after, over and over and over, to the point that, I'm like, well, look, I'll make a YouTube channel. So at least I'll be able to put videos out there, point them, oh, go check out this video or go check out that. But that is still somewhat impersonal because people might have questions there. So that's why I'm not doing the messenger thing, with like full of different people repeating myself. Do the Patreon. It's like $3.50. So it'll be greatly appreciated if you want a more individualized, personal, more one-on-one contact during the week. If you want like coaching, people spend hundreds of dollars a month on slim fast or Weight Watchers and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, I want your money. I want your $3.50 American. I think it's $5 Canadian. That's pretty much it. That's why the Patreon's there. I don't mind as well. I do this Monday stream. I also do content every morning. If people enjoy that and they want a bit of more one-on-one contact and stuff like that, we can do personal discussions. Some people would like to talk about the morning daily bread, Christianity, and they're too shy to come on live. So we could always work something out like once a month where we can join offline. But nah, I'm still trying to figure out the whole Patreon thing. It's new to me. But yeah, maybe I could do that because we're using StreamYard. And what you can do is, obviously you can do live like we're doing now, but I can also just pre-record something and I can still have guests on if we're offline. And what it is those who would be, let's say, interested for, let's say, okay, this day next month, let's have a recording done, or let's go on StreamYard and use that as a platform to chat. We don't have to publish it, kind of thing. So there's some like possibilities that I'm spinning around in my head. But yeah, now that I'm thinking of it, I'm going to keep the Patreon strictly for the coaching, and but I would like to do something with the morning daily bread if the community grows and stuff like that. I decided not to have people on in the morning stream because sometimes it stretches to like 2, 3, 4, up to 5 hours. When we get into discussions, people don't really like that. It's too long, and some people are there for the title. So, oh, that's what it's about. Let's stick to it. Okay, blah 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 blah. Let's go. We got Darla, Kai, hey, Rod. Cool. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, so bear with me. Here's a slideshow. Looks like it's popped up well. All right, good. All right, exactly. So anybody who is new to a ketogenic diet, you have no idea what it is. This, if you go onto my YouTube channel, you go to videos, you go all the way down. I think it's the second video that I had ever made online. I was super nervous in the video. And this is a good introduction video. It's well edited. I used to use, as you can see up here, KindMaster. If you guys want to like edit stuff for YouTube, you don't have a computer or you just don't understand editing, just go download this on your phone. KindMaster, it's free. If you pay for it, there's some perks and you don't get this water crest, the kind of thing. This disappears. But yeah, if somebody is new, please also share that video. Just go to my channel, press share, send it to people. It's about it's 20 minutes. Unlike what you experience dealing with me, it's straight to the point. All right, I was too shy to go on these long rants and stuff like that. Also, very simple, right? If you're new, you can tell people to just look at the beginner's keto food list, We see that all animal sources of nutrition on a ketogenic diet are allowed. All right, we have to watch out for beverages and stuff like that. Most of the time, they're just a bunch of sugar. So water, coffee, tea, bone broth, seltzer, and things like that. Watch out for bone broth that is purchased at the grocery store. They have seed oil in it. If you enjoy nuts and seeds and stuff like that, you can have some. Just realize that the nuts and seeds, they have protein, they have carbs, and they have fat. So it's very easy to scarf your face in with a lot of peanuts and stuff like that, and go like way over in calories. Plus, you're mixing carbohydrates and fats together. And if you're been to my channel and you kind of understand ketogenic diet, you're mixing two kinds of fuel together, and it's not beneficial. It can cause issues. Vegetables, same thing. No limit really on vegetables except for the starchy vegetables. All right. Dairy, pretty much all of whatever variety of cheese, there's no problem. Watch out with yogurt, because again, if it's flavored or something like that, there is a significant amount of added sugar to it. If you do want to go the yogurt route, I know Greek yogurt has a little bit more protein than the other one, and I would grab then frozen berries, and I would put like legit like berries into the natural yogurt, not buying yogurt that is flavored strawberry and stuff like that. We got the fruits, right? So I mean, technically, as long as you're not busting like 20 to 30 grams of glucose or carbohydrates per day, it shouldn't be an issue. Don't forget that, like, the ketogenic diet is a very extremely restricted carbohydrate diet. I don't consider it a high fat diet. I consider it a higher fat diet compared to what the last 70 years they've been telling us to eat. And the fats, any animal fat is basically good. All right. So avoid the seed oils, anything in a bottle that's an oil, avoid it. You can technically use olive oil. Problem is that companies are so corrupt that they're spiking the olive oil with these like rancid omega-6 seed oils that are industrial. It's a solvent based extraction method with industrial solvents to suck out these oils. Fish oil supplements and stuff like that, I don't really advocate for that. Again, it's a quality issue as well. What I do suggest is, if you want to benefit from an increased omega-3 consumption, that eggs are a good source, as well as sardines and a variety of fish. But the super man or the super person or woman is cod liver in a can in its own oil. It like bangs out 15 grams in one can. You have sardines is about 1.5 grams per can of sardines of omega-3 that we are seriously deficient in. We're gaining too much omega-6. Even if you're avoiding all the packaged foods, if you're never touching these oils that are just basically, omega-6, supplements or something like that. We do realize that, well, where are you getting the pork? Where are you getting the chicken? Stuff like that. They tend not to, a lot of grocery stores in Canada, you don't even know. You're asked and they're like, they don't even label like where it's coming from. So that's a major issue, sourcing. So that's why it's, probably, strongly suggested once you start losing the weight, starting getting healthier with keto, low carb, carnivore, etc., that you start looking around to see if there's local farmers or a way of getting more ethically grown and regenerative. The cows are and ruminant animals that you are eating really the grasslands, and not all these like grains and stuff like that. The nutrient content will be better. the animal will have more omega-3 in the meat and whatever the organs, everything else that you're eating. And yeah, so I don't advocate for counting calories. We're going to go through what I'm advocating for. So for simplicity, it's like, hey, this white food list over here, that's what you eat. Eat as much as you want until you're satisfied. You see this little section over here with the fruits, grains, beans, vegetables, toxic oils, and all those sugary drinks. Don't consume those. I don't advocate for like how much you weigh, what's your age, and all that. I advocate for eating these foods to satiety and not eating these foods because they're not healthy. All right. Here's the health guru here, right? Spraying nicotine in his face. I'm working on it. If it makes you feel better, I feel ashamed when I do it. If that makes you feel better. So is the ketogenic lifestyle sustainable? That's pretty much what I wanted to focus on. So I just sat down, did this about 2 hours ago, sitting down and going like, okay, what do I have to say on this topic? So like I had mentioned, I advocate for a ketogenic diet for weight loss. That's how I lost weight. It's how I've maintained control of my weight for 5 years now. And I do advocate for people who desire to not only do a restricted carbohydrate diet that's higher in fat, but also they want to eliminate all products that are not animal source nutrition. There are one reason why I would justify that this is a reasonable choice is that many of the plants, that we see in this list here. Okay, so all of these fruits and vegetables over here, they are, first of all, they're modified, right? They're genetically modified. They have less and less fiber. Just give me 1 second. They have less and less fiber. Plus, they last a really long time in the grocery store. Why do they last so long? I don't know. It's a mystery to me. It's likely some kind of product that makes them last a lot longer, much higher shelf life. So we know that all of these fruit orchards and things like that, these kind of crops as well, are unethical. They poison all the wildlife around to protect the product, and these are not quick and swift deaths for these animals. A lot of them, among other poisons, is anticoagulants. So you have somebody who's eating these fruits. There's chemicals that are chemical fertilizers. There's chemical pesticides, insecticides, fungicides, rodenticides, you name asides, okay? And so, the fruits and vegetables that we, perhaps used to consume prior to the modern age are vastly different than what humans would have been considered, fruits, vegetables, and things of those sort. So you have the fruits and stuff like that. The vegetables, while there are a lot of vegetables that actually have phytochemicals. So a plant doesn't want to be killed. A plant wants to survive, and the plant has defense mechanisms. So if you have a child, you know that you would go outside, you would not let your child just pick any little berry that's around the neighborhood, or anything green is perfectly fine because green is healthy. No, we know that the majority of plants are poisonous, that would make us extremely sick. So there's a variety of plant chemicals and plant hormones, and these are not beneficial for us. Some people might tolerate these phytochemicals, which are not phytonutrients. They're phytochemicals, really. And some people have a tolerance for it. things doesn't cause any, ailments or anything to flare up in their body. Other people, they don't tolerate it, but they would never guess that it quite possibly these chronic issues, even things as severe as autoimmune issues, could be because of these innocent little fruits and vegetables and beans. No, they're plants. Many plants are toxic, and there's no difference. These vegetables they don't love us unconditionally. Okay, they likely hate us if they had consciousness. Just joking, but yeah. So the grains genetically modified. We've heard of Monsanto glyphosate. There, it's just tons and tons and tons of chemicals. The fertilizers that are being used are not even animal manure. Many of the times, they're fossil fuel derived and fertilizers that are mined. So yeah, there's some people that have these autoimmune diseases, and if you're doing a ketogenic diet, you're still, in a way, you're able to technically eat all of this. People could do a keto diet, have no idea, and be just sucking down the industrialized seed oils. Same thing over here. Yeah, you can have vegetables. If you're not keto and you're low carb, then technically you can even have, instead of 20, 30 grams of carbohydrate per day, go up to 100, right? And you'll still, likely have some health improvements, but it means that you might be able to consume more of these. So the carnivore diet, okay, if you look technically, if you're eating an animal like a cow from nose to tail kind of thing, so you're not just limiting it to muscle meat, ribeyes and stuff like that, even that are have a lot more fat, which is great, but at least eating liver and stuff like that. So our ancestors could technically survive on just cow by eating all of it. But we often do not do that. So there are advocates on YouTube that say that no, they've been doing this for up to 10 years, just eating ribeyes with salt and drinking water. I don't advocate for that. I even Jordan Peterson, that's what he does, but that's because him and his daughter have serious autoimmune issues. So some people, let's say, will lose a lot of weight on a carnivore diet, and now their ailments will be improving drastically for some people. And then after, when they try and reintroduce certain fruits, vegetables, beans, or grains, they get a flare up, they get a return. And some of these people, their lives are improved drastically, and they seem to thrive on a very limited diet that is, a carnivorous diet. And there's nothing written in stone. So what are we talking about? A carnivorous diet. Give me a second. I'm just going to get out of the share screen. So when I talk about like a carnivorous diet, I just mean eating animal food. So eggs, lamb, beef, chicken, fish, you name it, right? So that for me is a carnivore diet. But some people will talk about a carnivore diet, meaning like, really just beef. That's all you eat, beef and salt and water. And like I said, I am completely fine with somebody doing that for a months on, a couple of months or something like that. But I don't necessarily, push it as if like, yeah, keto is great, but carnivore's even better. You'll see what I advocate for shortly, kind of brainstormed and put it on slides. I'm not even really, against carbohydrates. You'll see my opinion on carbohydrates. They're not the devil. It's just that they need to be used in a certain way that's beneficial to you, and people just don't understand that. They're not being taught that. So yeah, carnivore diet, autoimmune diseases, fat, obese, sick, lots of things, just full of pills to deal with symptoms, and that's the best you got. These people, while they're doing the weight loss, some will opt for doing a very restrictive and just sticking to beef for maybe 2 months straight. just beef, fatty beef, salt, you know, and water, and see how their symptoms improve. So, and then from there, you're like, whoa, there's something that I was eating that was causing this. Then it's up to you. You do what you want. If you want to add one food at a time, oh, okay, I'll try chicken now. Like, and then you just build up. Okay, now I will try a vegetable. Okay, now I will try, and you can re-add, and sometimes you can end up catching what is causing your body to react. And again, the idea is that it is a fact that plants and vegetables and fruits and beans all have all have chemicals that are defense mechanisms. I mean, some of the legumes and beans and stuff, they have cyanide and stuff. Some of these, if you wouldn't soak them and stuff like that, and eat them, they're literally straight out going to kill you. And yet we're, being shown all these wide variety of beans and legumes as if, they're a whole food, miracle food, when in reality, no, a carnivorous diet, if you're eating organ meats included, has everything right down to vitamin C. So indeed, the heavily supplemented vegan diet that still leads to nutritional deficiencies, that's being pushed onto everyone. That's good. It's going to save the planet. It's more spiritual, everything, right? And then after, when you look at just the straight facts, and it fits into the historical diet that humans ate, it becomes quite obvious. It's like this whole food, what we're supposed to eat as humans, is not really a mystery. Again, when I'm talking about dieting, well, it's true. A lot of the people here are obese, so it is in a way a weight loss method. But if you look at the definition of diet, it just means what are the regular staple foods that one is eating. That's what. So we're all eating a diet, all right? But we often have that connotation. Diet means like, well, I don't want a diet. I just want to eat in moderation. I'm not talking about a ketogenic diet. I'm saying that everybody has a staple of foods that they eat, and that is a diet. Like when I say that a tiger is fed a carnivorous diet, that means that this is an obligate carnivore, and that tiger, his adapted and ideal foods are carnivorous. So yeah, the tiger is not on a diet when I say he's on a carnivorous diet. It just means that's what is optimal for that species. Don't forget to do cap locks, guys, if you want me. Oh, thanks, Kai. Good. This one's for you. See, he's not shaming me. Thank you, Kai. That was 2 sprays with no guilt. Nicotine is 10 times more addictive than heroin. I'm telling you. It's crazy. All right, anything else to say? All right, let's go back to PowerPoint presentation. All right. Next. So yeah, I'm not an extremist. The majority of people are eating and are being recommended, and this is just like a recommendation. Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how muscular you are. It's like everyone should have 2,000 calories, and of those 2,000 calories, 65% of those calories should be carbohydrates, and that's for everybody. And it's really ridiculous. So like I said, I would never give my opinion and start advocating for something that I haven't done for myself. And as well, if I am wrong or not, well, I'll tell you one thing. If I am wrong, I will be able to say, well, okay, I'm wrong, but this is where I got what I said, what I was talking about. This is the source. Has it been refuted? Has it been redacted? Okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. I'll look into that. That's kind of where I am. So I'll let you know when it's my uneducated just opinion on certain things. But the majority of the stuff, I'm very careful when I'm presenting this, that it's evidence-based, that it's factual, or at least what I mean by that is I can, if challenged, I can bring and give you and show you a citation about it. So that's my thoughts on the carnivore diet. I think it has a huge potential of healing people from a lot of the diseases that the doctors are just like, we don't know, but here's a pill for the symptoms. So again, low carb, higher fat diet for maintenance. I have no problem with maintaining a ketogenic diet. And there's some reasons why perhaps maintaining the ketogenic diet may be beneficial for certain diseases, such as mental illness, neurovascular diseases, and things of that source. Fasting, which comes naturally. So we've gone through the satiety mechanisms, things like the hormone ghrelin, leptin. These are hormones that are signaled to whether to say that you're hungry or that you have satiety, that you're no longer hungry. So with a low carb and a higher fat diet, you're going to be optimizing the satiety and hunger hormones much better. There is basically carbohydrates. They just don't activate those hormones, and in actuality, they dysregulate them. They make them malfunction, which is very sad because a lot of people that may be quite obese by trying to diet throughout their lifetime, they have ruined not only their metabolism because they're being lied to about what works, as well, they start having some major hormonal dysregulation. So they have the hormones, which are chemicals, signalers, screaming to their body that they're starving. And then after, these people can be judged as gluttons, lazy, undisciplined, and that's really, really sad. It's upsetting to me. I'm sure to them too. I'm sure that eventually they say there must be something wrong with me. And they probably might start thinking that themselves, and that's not something I want people to have to experience emotionally. So fasting, which comes naturally with keto. So it's in the scientific literature. Some previous podcasts I've mentioned it, that being in ketosis itself, the molecule ketone, which is a energy source derived from fats, that they have an appetite suppressing effect. And we're going to get into the issue on calories. People who want to simplify weight loss is just restrict calories and burn more. So, put less energy into the body and try and burn more. And I'm not saying that that's completely wrong. I'm saying that it is incomplete. And if somebody thinks that it is complete to talk just about calories, then that's wrong. So I'm not denying that probably a huge part that I'd be comfortable saying more than half of the reasons the key is about less calories. But there's a subtle difference, and there's some hormonal factors that we're going to get into that people are not looking at, as if everything that you put in your mouth, where there's different food groups like protein, fat, and carbohydrates, as if like these foods are just like, there's a reason why they're differentiated, protein, fat, and carbohydrates, because they're different and they do different things. They have different functions and your body reacts, differently between consuming protein or fat or carbohydrates. Then you can make it even more complicated, and you could say, well, not only that, but when you combine these foods, okay, together in certain ratios as well, that can put set off a completely different cascade metabolically in your body. Um, so I also advocate. So this would be somebody who they're fine with their diet and they're thriving, they're healthy and stuff like that. What I would preach on the street corners is the avoidance of all seed oils and products derived from them. So the seed oils, like I said, there's one, they call it vegetable oil. There's canola oil, also known as rapeseed oil. There is corn oil. There's sunflower seed oil. There's fancier ones. And all of these are basically toxic. They've only been introduced about 100 years ago. And reached a large scale to the point where these seed oils that I'm talking about, we're consuming 10 to 15% of our total calories with the people following the standard American diet, the way they eat. 15%, like of their food intake is these seed oils that are known to be too high in omega-6, causing omega-3 deficiencies, omega-6 toxicity, which causes oxidation, inflammation, cellular damage. They're toxic, and they're the number one reasons for us being sick. And Weston A. Price, in his research, also acknowledged that these are the seed oils that are anything that's fried in a restaurant, that that is being fried over and over and over. And then you have like coconut oil, avocado oil, and olive oil that in and of themselves, I don't consider them to be in the same group at all. They're not, they're cold pressed. They're not industrial solvent based extraction method. And what I mean by that is that the seed oils, they'll take, let's say, acres and acres and acres, fields and fields and fields of soybean, right? They throw that in a big industrial metal vat. Then they're going to turn on the taps and flood that with a solvent called hexane that is an industrial solvent, and then what it does is it extracts from the soybean the oils, right? You can't crush a bunch of soybeans and see the oils seeping out, and things like that. So that's basically, they're putting it in a vat. They're putting industrialized solvents to extract it, and then later on evaporate that toxic textile solvent. They pressurize it, and all of these processes damage the omega-6 molecules that are very brittle. So straight out coming out of the company into the bottles and onto the shelf and into your belly, by the time it's in the bottle, it's already becoming poisonous. And it won't kill you when you take a sip of it, which is very deceiving. It'll kill us over a long period of time. And I've shown in previous videos, maybe I can pop it up. Let me just rush through it. Sorry, guys, for giving you guys a seizure. There's one study here. It's seed oils as a driver for cardiovascular disease. I don't think I have it. I made a mistake. Sorry, blasting through. I'll show it later if I remember. Close your eyes. You're gonna have a seizure with the flashing slides. So avoid those seed oils, spread the word. The problem is that right down to the darn Triscuits, wraps, brown breads, all of these packaged foods that have healthy, because it's low in sodium and cholesterol, they all have these seed oils. So that's why you have to remove yourself, okay, from anything in the middle of that shopping thing. Start turning around the boxes and look, and you'll see all of these vegetable, soybean, canola, rapeseed, etc. Fats. they tell us to take margarine. Margarine is a further process to solidify and hydrogenate, push in the hydrogen atoms to make the oils into a solid, causing trans fat. These things are like pretty much plastic, and we're getting sick because butter is being demonized, but margarine that's killing us is being pushed. Lard that they used to bake with lard, now it's being pushed. Don't do that. Use the shortening. Use the Crisco. So yeah, like if there's like 15 seconds to tell everybody what's making them sick, it would be they drastically reduced the fat content in our food. They pushed that sugar to replace all the fat that they took out. And then on top of that, the reduced fat, they tried to demonize and push out all animal fats so that the small amount of fats that we are getting are from these seed oils. That's what's killing us. The high carb is killing us. The low fat is not giving our body the fat we need. And the small amount of fat that we are getting now is because it's seed oils. That's what's really making us sick. Those two main points. Weston A. Price had that correct like a century ago. But it doesn't sell. Doesn't sell multiple products. Doesn't help the economy grow. So yeah, fasting. The minute you start eating higher fat, much lower carb, so you're eating a wide variety of animal sources of food with optional side dishes of vegetable, a little bit of butter on that. Just by switching that up, you'll have amazing results. If you are in a hurry, then you do, strict keto, and you do one meal a day for intermittent fasting, and you add like some prolonged fast, a couple of days, 3, 4, 7 days in a row, like my brother does, then you'll go really, really fast and you'll get to your result very, very quickly. But if you just want to just over time slowly, then yeah, you can do low carb, 200 to 250 grams of carbohydrates per day is what the recommendation is. So anybody who decreases that to 150 already will have some weight loss. I think that somebody who does low carb where it's 100 grams, I think that you will have over time a good amount of weight loss. The issue I have with low carb, knowing that, yeah, you don't have to be this drastic and strict and stuff like that, is that there's some people that have carbohydrate addictions. I'm one of them. So if I'm trying to scarf in, 100 grams or allowing myself to have that, for me, it sends off binge. So I had 2 weeks. We had some birthdays. My wife's side of the family, very, very big. Granddaughter birthday party yesterday, and the day before, and I went camping as well, and I just caved in, and right away you can tell in my face. Like the minute like I have like a one binge day, I wake up and it's like all of a sudden I feel like I got like chipmunk cheeks. I lose the jawline and stuff like that. So I tend to binge on it. So that's why I stay ketogenic for long periods of time. But that being said, what do you think? Last 5 years, I've never, I've maintained ketosis for 5 years. No, even when I was doing strict, I was probably eating once in a while a lot of berries, and that probably popped me out of ketosis for a certain amount of time. If there's a day where happens that you're eating more protein, a larger protein day, you're going to change that protein to a certain amount into sugar. That'll pop you out of ketosis for a while. So, I'm not, I'm very careful not to become too religious, let's say, about how strict things should be. So that's why I'll usually say that carbohydrate consumption, I advocate for it to be individualized. Like, it's like, okay, what do you want? Well, how old are you? Oh, you know what? You're 20 years old, right? You're growing and things like that. Now, if you're fat and you're, 16, 15, yeah, I'm going to advocate for a low carb diet. You have way too much energy stored on your body. We got to go through that. But if you're an athlete, I think that there's benefits of if you're trying to cut and lean down, you could adopt pretty much a ketogenic diet, except you have a carbohydrate meal after exercising, because you know that it's going to go into your muscles, it's going to go into the right place. So my hope is that week after week, I'm trying to explain the biochemistry of food, to understand what each macronutrient that we eat, fat, protein, and carbs, what's their purpose? Why are they differentiated? What does this do in the body? What does that one do? Are they the same? Are they different? What's the purpose of these? Is there issues if you add them? Are there certain amounts that if you consume too much, it can cause it? All of these things. So um, somebody who wants to do a low carb, I'm fine with that. I'll coach you with that. And somebody who has attained the ideal body weight, look, if they feel great, just continue doing what you're doing, no problem. But then you could add 10 grams and wait like maybe 2 weeks. And now, you're seeing, oh, wow, actually, I'm feeling a little bit fuller and doesn't look like I'm getting any squish around, no muffin top going. And you see your body composition. You can sneak in another 10 grams. Oh, now after, you've gotten from 20 to 80, at 80, you notice there's a little fluff starting, then tone it back down. If you're 20 grams and you've lost your weight and everything's going fine, then you're like, I want to try and incorporate, some carbohydrates. But as you start doing that, you realize that you went from 20 grams to trying to get to 30 or 40, and you're at 100 or 200 because you're binging. So not everybody is the same. There's a endomorph, ectomorph. There's different body types. There's some people that can't put on weight. There's some people that put on weight very easily. So it has to be individualized. Some people, when they start the ketogenic diet, feel brain fog, weak, crappy. And some people just feel great transitioning. So it's individualized. That's why the Monday stream is here to help you guys on your journey, no matter what style that you wish to adopt, or what variation maybe that you want to tweak your diet with. That's why you're here. Understanding the biochemistry. It's that just quickly. Let's say there's 3 people that eat 1,000 calories. Okay. In a day, let's say 2,000, the recommended. Okay. So they happen to be triplets. So they're the same, right? The first triplet takes 2,000 calories of only protein. Then the second one, 2,000 only fat. And then the other one, 2,000 only carbohydrates. Okay. Well, the first one that's eating 2,000 calories of protein, I don't know how they'd managed to scarf that in, but let's say they did. This is going to supply that person with protein to build structures in their body. They'll also be able to use that protein, and because it's such a large amount, it's not required. So the body will turn that into sugar. And then that sugar can be used as energy and can replace glycogen storage and things like that. So that's 2,000 calories of only protein. If you're doing 2,000 calories of only fat, well, what's going to happen is that the fat will enter your blood. And when you're fasting, there's fat entering your blood from your squishy, body. So if you're scarfing down just fat, it's almost like the metabolic environment that's created during fasting that leads to weight loss is not altered. So it's like a fast mimicking meal, because your insulin will not be spiked with the fat. And pretty much you could take biomarkers and blood tests of somebody fasted, somebody who just scarfed all that fat, and it's the same thing. So you will also use the fat, okay, for energy. You are able to convert the fat into sugar. So fat will be beneficial because it's a fuel. It can also create the other non-essential fuel or the alternate fuel, glucose. And fat is a building structure. Just like protein, we think it builds stuff. You know, it's part of it's like the wood and the bricks that build things, but fat as well. So the brain is 60% of the composition of the brain, 60% fat. So the fat in the brain is required through our diet to maintain the omega-3, the omega-6. Those are fats. Those will be taken and used for the body. Every cell has a lipid layer that controls diffusion and transport across the cell membrane. You have all of your nervous system, just like like an electrical wire over here. So you have the electrical wire, and if we didn't have that plastic sheath over it, the current would not be able to propagate down and proceed forward. So same thing with our nervous system. It's layered with cholesterol and fat. So we see that it's calorie and a calorie and a calorie are not the same. Now you got the person who's eating 2,000 calories of carbohydrates. Now, let's say they've been doing this for 7 days straight. So the 2,000 calories of carbohydrates, well, they'll enter, and it's not used to build any structures in your body. It doesn't build hormones like fat and stuff like that. It is purely gasoline. It is purely jet fuel. It is purely energy. And if that person for 7 days would be consuming only that, well, first of all, it would cause a massive amount of fat storage, because the carbohydrates, that's all they are, is fuel. And if you consumed more fuel than you need, it's going to go to fat. And these people, if they would continue just with carbohydrates, attaining technically the amount of calories that is required to fuel the body, that person would not be building muscle, would not be making new sex hormones and all sorts of hormones in the body and stuff like that. So we cannot simplify and just say, yeah, it's about calories. Like, no. Different macronutrients have different effects on hormone. They have different effects on hormones that signal satiety or hunger. Protein is essential in our diet. Fat is essential in our diet, and it's just a fact. And I'm not saying like, oh, it's not essential. Carbohydrates, they're not essential, so they're the devil. No, but we're being lied to, because they're saying that they are essential, and biologically, like our biology, our physiology, our biochemistry, it is not essential to consume carbohydrates. So no calorie counting. All right, that's the way I do it. Now, if you go online for a ketogenic diet, you're going to see that they're going to ask you with a calculator, your age, your group. Do you want to weight loss, maintain, all these things? I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, just don't complicate things. There's a list of foods that you can eat, and there's a list of foods that you can't eat. So eat those until you're satisfied, and please avoid those because they're going to mess up your goals. That's the two charts. That's as simple as it can be, as well as eat when you're hungry. So if you're following a ketogenic diet, okay, the science acknowledges it, and anybody who's done a ketogenic diet seriously and achieved the weight loss goals, has done it for a year, will as well anecdotally, each one of us explain to you that, wow, now I understand the difference between being hungry and being tormented by cravings and stuff like that. So stating a fact, carbohydrates, okay, the molecule glucose can be produced by our body with protein and fat. So our blood sugar is maintained at 5 millimoles. That's about like 4 grams, like a little less than a teaspoon in 5 to 6 liters. That's what your body likes as a blood glucose level, as a sugar blood sugar level. So imagine that 4 gram that it's always going to try and maintain, and then you grab a Pepsi that's 40 grams, and that enters your bloodstream, spikes it from 4 grams up to 40, and then your pancreas splashes out insulin, so that insulin opens up the cell wall or allows for fat storage to say, okay, these 40 grams, okay, if this is maintained 40 grams, the patient will be in a coma. So it is quite rapid, where that 40 grams insulin secretes, starts knocking at the doors of the cell. Open up, open up. Do you want some glucose? Shuttle it. And so you have this 40 grams enters your bloodstream. You got the insulin that spikes at a spike saying, get this sugar, whether it's fat storage or into the cell. So then after, it goes back to 4 grams, and then the insulin slowly returns. And then after, you'll have spaghetti with garlic, boom, 150 grams. It wants 4 grams. Now it has to deal with 150 grams. Insulin bursts out of the pancreas, starts knocking at the door. Let's get this 150 back, to 4 grams. This is basically what's happening. So when you start ingesting things that are not essential, you have to be careful, because your body is technically able to produce sugar, to produce the glucose. So if you're adding something that the body technically can live without, then it's like you're injecting hormones, right? Let's say you have testosterone. Your body, you don't need testosterone. Your body produces it. What happens if you start slamming your body with testosterone injections? Bad things happen. The levels go high. Your body stops producing it. This is what happens when you put non-essential things into your body. So our carbohydrates, are they the devil? No. What I try and teach and advocate for is to understand carbohydrates. When you ingest them, they're strictly fuel. They have a purpose. Once it's put into your bloodstream, your body will use it immediately, right? Because why? Why does it use the sugar immediately? It uses the glucose, carbs immediately to return the blood sugar. Okay. Now you have this glucose that is stored in all our muscles. So the bigger your muscles, the more, if you eat that sugar, the more that it can be dispersed out of the blood into these reservoirs, into these storage tanks. So a big bodybuilder with like arms 3 times my size, okay, can consume 3 times more than my bicep, let's say, just for simplicity. And the liver as well has about 100 to 150 grams of storage space for glucose in the form of glycogen. So if ever you hear glycogen, it just means that when your body gets sugar and is trying to put it in the muscles, once it successfully gets stored in the muscles, it carries water and it carries glucose. And then when you use those muscles, especially when you burst into quick action and stuff like that, you're going to end up using up that fuel, and then the water, because the glucose is used, the water just goes into the bloodstream and you pee it out. So it's true. I've seen articles where they say like, oh, you know what, keto, they say it's rapid weight loss, but it's only water weight. It's like, okay, listen, all right. My brother's probably at 70 or 80, probably 80 pounds now, if not more, of weight loss over 3 months. I'm just rough balling estimates here. That's not 80 pounds of water. My brother, okay, has been losing fat as well. So it's just straight out lies that people read on headlines in their social media feeds. And then, you talk about keto, and then they're like, oh yeah, but it's really just water weight. Okay. So you should eat when hungry. The problem is if you're doing a low fat a low fat, high carb diet, okay, the standard diet that they say is healthy, you're hungry every 3 to 5 hours. So you're constantly eating. Um, so carbohydrates have a purpose. In my head, I've been like keto for, days and days. Technically, I could probably bang in like 200-gram spaghetti, bread, stuff like that. The next day, I'll look, oh, I put on 10 pounds. No, what happened is you just carved yourself up. You probably in that first meal, even if it's 200 gram, you probably didn't even create any body fat. You're just totally, fully stocked in your reservoirs with glucose, with carbs. And then after, if you wait a couple of more days, you'll see that this, as you move and are physical and stuff like that, that glucose goes away, and then you lose all of this water weight, and that's true. So there is and it's fine. Most of us are Demetis. Most of us are water holding water, anyways. So I am not saying that carbohydrates are the devil. I'm saying that the it is the devil if you're going to tell everybody, no matter how sedentary or active they are, that they need 65% of their calories. That's a lie from the devil. Here's an abbreviation just for Nutrition and Physical Degeneration by Weston A. Price. If you look at, he went and visited indigenous cultures that were not in contact with modern man and the foods of modernity, as he puts it. And these were thriving human specimens, devoid of all these diseases of modernity, all of these Alzheimer's, dementias, the cancers, the heart disease, and all these things that we're like, it's like, it's not a mystery, guys. We do know what we ate, like, in the 1900s. We do understand the diseases that were killing us back then. They weren't the same diseases. We're dying of diseases that humans were never dying of before. We were living less long, but that was because of we medical. You could die of a tooth abscess back in the day. You could die of a simple infection. You could get an appendicitis, and that's it. You're dead. All sorts of things. It was a dangerous time as well. So there's a lot of reason why people are living longer now compared to before. But I would say is, okay, so they would live from, let's say, 0 to 40 or 50, thriving, and then they drop dead from environmental issues or the lack of the technologies that we have that can save lives now. Now we can stretch people to 80, 70, and 80. Yeah, but they're already sick by the time they're 20. They're already developing these modern diseases. So, it's like quality over quantity in my book. So calories, again, play a part, but it isn't simple math. You have to look at the hormonal influence of different macronutrients. Okay, we just went through the different influence that each one of those has on insulin. Insulin decides if insulin is there. It is an anabolic hormone. Therefore, yes, it is a hormone that allows for the growth of muscle, but it is also a fat storage hormone. When insulin's present, it'll open up the body to receive the nutrients, but anything that is excess, meal per meal, insulin as well allows fat to be generated, to create fat, lipogenesis. Different influences in satiety. Again, the 3 macronutrients have different effects on hormones that signal to your head whether you're full or whether you're hungry. We went through the comparison of the 2,000 calories for each person, and this is just me bringing it up again, that these macronutrients, there's different usage within the body, okay? Carbohydrates can't do what fat and protein does, right? And vice versa. So there's also um, to take into consideration other subtleties like combination of macronutrients. Okay, you consume fat alone, your body's going to take that fat and use it for what it needs, whether it's hormones, whether it's cells, whether it's to fill up your brain with 60% of that fat. It has a function, right? The omega-3s and omega-6, those are fats. Those are essential in an appropriate degree. Like I said, omega-6 is actually essential. It's just that instead of having a 1-to-1 ratio, or we have a 20-to-1 ratio, omega-6 and barely any omega-3. That's the big problem. But fat is a fuel as well as a building component of your body. So if you're eating fat, chances are the fat's going to not do anything weird. It's going to do what it's supposed to do. Fat is very filling. So if you're just eating the fat whenever you're hungry, you'll see that you'll adjust, and eventually you'll, you won't be gorging on fat. But then you have carbohydrates. If the carbohydrates are just being ingested alone, if there's room in your muscles, it'll go there. But if you're sedentary and you just had all those carbs, and your cells are being fired and generated, and this is just excess, has no other purpose. It's just going to go and make you very fat. It also, carbs alone will make you very hungry. Within 3 to 5 hours, you're going to be hungry. When you have animal food, when you have like, Italian sausage or something like that, when you have fat and protein from animals, it fills you up. And and that fulfillment, that satiety, lasts very, very long. That's why when the ketogenic diet became popularized, when I started, it was kind of I've done I've done some live streams where, like, this is nothing new. Like, this was known in the 1900s. People were doing that. People were fasting in the times of Plato and stuff like that. So it's not that it's new. And calling a ketogenic diet a fad diet is actually, no, I would say that when they decided to remove all that fat, okay, to push in man-made fats, to demonize the fats that we've always thrived on, that has exactly what our body is made of, okay? And then after pushed all of these carbohydrates instead, this is a horrible combination of macronutrients. The other thing is if you're eating fat and carbs together, they actually kind of make both each other I was going to say unofficial. They cause dysregulation in energy pathways. So you would think like, yeah, I'm supplying fat as energy and carbohydrates. It's like, yeah, actually, when they're both coming at the same time, it causes issues where there is the regulation becomes disrupted, and the efficiency of producing energy through that Krebs cycle we learned at school is diminished. And we have to also look at what the long-term influence is on the metabolism. So there is very solid science that doing the calorie restriction with a low-fat, high-carb diet and exercising more will always, within a year, most often, you'll have a plateau. You will probably have struggled with hunger, calorie restricting months after months, which I find is unsustainable. But all of this dieting, because it's constant, you're eating sometimes 6 meals per day, right? So, oh, you know what? Eat smaller meals all throughout the day. It'll protect your metabolism. No, it's doing the exact opposite. Your brain is saying, I have no food shortage here. I am getting frequent meals every 3 to 5 hours. Sometimes I have a meal, it's a smaller meal, but then after I have a snack, then I have a lunch, then I have a snack, then supper, then I have a snack. So your body sees that there's no food scarcity, and it will allow you to lose weight strictly with that calories in and calories out. But eventually your metabolism's like, oh, well, you know what? I'm just going to tone down my metabolism, bring down the furnace, and now you're not going to lose any more weight. And then after you, oh, let's drop more calories. And then before you know it, you're the fattest one in the cafeteria eating salad where other people are scarfing down food and not getting fat. It's very sad when people get in that situation and they don't know why. Here is just article from Business Insider that says the biggest loser winners regain the weight they lost, and it reveals a disturbing truth behind many diets. Just want to see what time it is. I'm going to race through. So is the ketogenic lifestyle sustainable? All right, so let's look at the calories, okay? Low fat, high carb, right? That's the recommendation. It says specifically you're going to do a low fat, a high carb diet, and it says to reduce the calories, making the dieter hungry. So that's like, this is the difference. With the low fat, okay, they're telling you to purposely restrict the calories. People complain that they're hungry when they do this. They're using a lot of willpower. Number two, when you do a low carb, high fat diet, okay, naturally you decrease the amount of calories that you're consuming because they have satiety. Because what are you doing? You're not eating a lot of carbs. So how are you getting higher fat? How are you getting your protein? You're getting it through animal food. And within the animal food, it has, the omega-6, the omega-3 that's required. Within the animal food, there are the fat-soluble vitamins that are either devoid in plant kingdom or in a form that's not bioavailable, can't be converted, for example. You can increase exercise, but just realize that if you're increasing exercise, then your hunger will increase. So you have somebody on a low fat, high carb diet, you're telling them to restrict. So now they're eating even less calories. Then they're going hard and running and doing all of these exercises. So now they're even more hungry. It's not a natural way. You can tell because with keto, you don't have to tell people. Just say eat this, avoid that, eat when hungry. And before you know it, they're fasting. And we didn't even tell them to fast. It's like, I'm not hungry. You told me to eat when I was hungry. I usually have one meal a day and I'm good. It's like, yeah, exactly. Because it's a human appropriate diet. So keto and fasting protects your metabolism. There's science that I could post in the Ketogenic Bible. They have some citation. Ketosis as well. When you compare it to, let's say, a non-ketosis diet, it also has muscle sparing. It has it reacts in your body and it helps to spare muscle loss during weight loss. There's white fat and there's brown fat. Brown fat is in a way a good kind of fat in your body, and keto can increase that kind of fat. That helps keep your body warm, that actually burns calories, this fat, or you can have the white fat around your body that to a certain extent can even secrete certain hormones and things like that can be inflammatory. So low fat, high carb ruins your metabolism, all right? It's important to understand with number 5 here that doing a ketogenic diet, throwing all of those side dishes of carbs away, and if you enjoy eating vegetables as side dishes, then there are no nutrient deficiencies. In fact, that's why I was saying that if you look at even a strict carnivore diet, let's say you're just eating beef and liver, okay? All of what you require is literally in there. And again, some people, I don't advocate for this is the new way to eat. You'll never eat anything but fatty meat and salt and water. But I mean, Jordan Peterson, there are people but I won't advocate for that because I have not done that to myself. But I'm completely confident with people doing a couple of months on a all meat diet with multivitamin and salt and water, just to see if by excluding all of these foods, if some of their skin issues, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, anything like that, anything that you're suffering from, it could be well worth trying a very strict carnivore diet and seeing if things improve. And then gradually you can reintroduce certain animal foods and see if the flare up returns. And if you get through all the animal groups, then if you still want to continue, then try very slowly, one vegetable at a time, and give it a few weeks, give it 2 weeks maybe. So I'm going on, so we're looking at, is ketogenic lifestyle sustainable? I said, I'm going on 5 years now, keto plus fasting. When I started, I was at 225 pounds, and I lost weight down to 176 pounds. This is roughly by memory. It was definitely in less than a year. I had no cravings. Okay. I had decreased hunger, and yes, naturally, because the food I was eating was giving satiety to me, it was giving me proper hormonal signals of when I am hungry and when I am full. I naturally reduced those calories. Think of it this way. Let's say you do 5 days, okay, where you do intermittent fasting, 16, and you get your food in 8-hour periods and you fast for 16. You're doing keto. Your appetite's under control. You're eating what your body's made of. So you have that satiety. You're eating what your whole body needs. So you're maintaining a good body composition, and then you decide, yeah, I'm going to do 5 days of that, and then 2 days I'm going to do a straight out fast, just drink water when I'm thirsty kind of thing. So that means within 1 month, that 2, 4, 6, 8. So every month it's as if you didn't eat for 8 days. You save that much money on food. And then you look at a year, if you did 5 days of intermittent fasting and 2-day fast during your weight loss, you will end up having 96 days at the end of the year where you were not a consumer of food. Do you know how much money that saves? And that is amazing. You're going to save a lot of money. And imagine if everybody adopted this, lost weight, and weren't so hungry anymore. No more cravings. And all of a sudden, it's like, yeah, every person is no longer walking into a grocery store for 3.5 months almost, right? Or for, let's say, 3 months. 3 months per year. Over here it says, so it's been 5 years. So what I do is I've slacked off. Let's say the last year, at one point I was I think still considered low carb, but I was doing low carb for sure, and never returned to like insane amounts, but I was really inconsistent. There were cheats and stuff. I seem to hover up to 195, and even eating inconsistently like that, and not really doing keto, but more low carb. But oh boy, I went out and cheated there, and I had this or that. I still never returned to the 225. And there is a study in the book here that said the same thing. The study was by Nielsen and colleagues. It was published in 2008. That's what they said. The average weight at the start of the study was 221 pounds. At the end of 6-month period, the average had dropped to 196. So that was like a 25-pound loss. 3 years later, the subjects had gained on average about 9 pounds of the 25 that they lost. So they'd maintained 16 pounds of the initial weight loss. However, of the 16 patients, 5 5 of those, so that's like, that's 33% of them, one third of them, had either remained at the same weight, so they didn't even put on 9 pounds, and they'd reached at the end of the study, or they had lost even more weight. So this is science, and this is also me anecdotally saying that I agree with that. So I decide how much I weigh, basically. Like I said, I went camping. Yep, I failed. Like I fell off the wagon, and I indulged in crap food and s'mores with Hershey chocolates and stuff like that. Then there was granddaughter's party. It's like just cake and candies and stuff like that for a big family that she has. So I was there eating like my piece of cheese and a pepperoni stick, and I cracked. I cracked at the end of the night. I was fine during the party, but then I was like watching TV, and my wife got some cake, and I was like, I'm doing it. And oh boy, I did it. Oh yes, I did it. It was horrible. The cravings come back. Then it takes me almost 3 days. I feel like I said, much more weight already here. I fluff up super easily, and I find it actually affects my mood. Not for a mood in a bad way when I do this crap food. So, but I'm not depressed. I don't feel like I am not empowered, because it's like, I know why. Look what I've been doing. I know why I just fluffed up, let's say 10, 15 pounds. Oh, okay. I want to lose the weight. Perfect. Okay. How fast do I want to lose the weight? It's straight up just fast, like, a couple of days, fasting at a time, just with water, multivitamin, and some salt. And, or I can take it easy and just do strict keto and intermittent fasting. I can do what I want. I decide how much I weigh, and you guys can decide how much you weigh. What I often say is, don't start my attitude here when you're trying to lose weight. I would do 1 year, very seriously committed, and if you fall off the wagon, oh well, just off you go the next day, get in gear. And I was scared after a year of being successful that there'd be a rebound, so I pushed it for another year. So 2 years strict, and then 3 years in indulge and stuff like that here and there. And it's the same thing now. I'm fat, I'm squishy, but a few 2 months ago I was at 170. I was even lower than I was the first time I lost weight on keto. So I decide how much I weigh. Also, I think it's very good, and my brother Bruce is doing that. He's like, yeah, he goes, like, sometimes I'll fast for this many days, and then I'll stop for and so he's not doing like a fixed thing. It's like, oh yeah, I'm on my 4th day, maybe I'll eat tonight, and like yeah, maybe I'll eat for a couple of days, but I'm still eating ketogenic or almost straight up carnivore, cheese, eggs, beef, chicken, and stuff like that. And it's like, that's great. It's much better if you're doing, let's say, that's why I said don't count meals, because I rather things switch around. If you're hungry one day, at one point you might be hungry and you need 3 meals. Eat 3 meals. Like I said, eat when hungry. Your body will tell you when it's hungry. So you might actually eat 3 meals. Then after the next day, you might not be hungry at all. So you don't eat till the next day. The next day you have 1 meal. Oh, okay. And then you decide, well, I'm doing a 7-day fast. I'm doing a 2-day fast, doing a 5-day fast. Mix it up. Oh, this meal, man, there's a lot more fat in that meal, and it's like, oh, this one I had a protein, a meal pretty high in protein, but it was pretty lean this day. Wonderful. Just switch. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's why, I say, eat what when you're hungry, eat this stuff, avoid that stuff, keep it simple. And to, look, I want to see the study, not these studies that say like, oh, well, energy efficiency maybe alter. It's like, I'm not talking about like athletes that need to shave off a couple of milliseconds and stuff like that. In and of itself, there's nothing dangerous about being the majority of the time in constant ketosis for long periods of time. We have the Maasai, we have the Inuits. I wouldn't say that they were like no carb at all, but the majority of the time they were in ketosis. Um, I'm lying. The majority of the time, the way they were eating was ketogenic. Um, what happens is if you're maintaining yourself in ketosis or eating such restrictions in carbohydrates, your body, your mitochondria, your body, your cells use it as it's being produced. It's being used up, and it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? You think it's extreme? Okay, then have some nuts and berries one day, and bring yourself up to 50 grams or 60 grams of carbs. Oh, look, you're out of ketosis. Now you can continue again for another 7 days. Like, I'm really not cultish about this. Um, but I would like to see the study that straight out says that it is dangerous, that it can harm your health. Maybe it's out there, and if it is, I will acknowledge it. But I've seen studies that on obese patients, long term, up to a year. The study went, so they can confirm up to a year. There's people like me that are the majority of time in ketosis. So you know what? I'm not pushing that. Just like I said, I'm not pushing. Let's make a point out of it, and you're going to be carnivore, and you're never going to touch another plant. I'm not like that. Nor do I think it benefits. Even though there are some facts that this ain't essential, and this, hypothetically, we have everything we need. Yeah, so it's like I was saying over here. If you have you're not calculating stuff, and you just happen to have a lot of protein, and you went and got steaks, but the fatty ribeyes were too expensive, so you just bought some like round steak. There's not much fat, but you take a decent amount of that. Well, it's going to produce sugar, and that sugar is going to kick you out of ketosis. So it's like, okay, you know what? You don't even have to, in a way, eat carbs to create a stoppage in your ketosis. Berries and nuts and stuff like that. That's why I say, like don't really moderate. Like if you're having berries every few days and stuff like that, have enjoy it. It'll pop you out of ketosis, no problem. You're right back in it, as long as it doesn't cause a binge reaction like it does to me. Then more power to you. The other thing is, I don't deal with athletes. Okay, I'm not like talking about. Give me a sec. Ouch. I'm not talking about athletics and stuff like that. If you're an athlete and you're jacked, look at me. Okay, I'm not telling any athlete what to do. This is geared more towards people that are obese and are sick, or people that have been obese and sick and have adopted this keto fasting, intermittent fasting, carnivore, low carb, all these things, and they've had success. These are the people that I want to share their testimony here on my channel. And for sure, if you're an athlete trying to like just do keto, and you arrive, let's say, at the competition, it's like, yes, why the heck wouldn't you completely fill your glycogen storage, your sugar storage in your muscle? That's stupid, right? So I know that if you want to get into like the research, now you can start passing back, published research talking about, yes, well, under the microscope, this seemed to cause that. When look, I'm a simple guy. I just want to help people that are obese and help them improve if they're sick. And I do it through the ketogenic diet because I did it on myself. I'm confident with it. and I did a lot of research, and I'm confident that I'm not advocating for anything dangerous. That being said, you guys are all adults. I could be full of poop. So this is a way of me sharing what I've learned. And you can then go do your own research. And of course, you should verify what somebody says, right? I'm just like a signpost pointing the way. Okay, but you have to, decide, am I going to listen to the sign, go on my own journey of investigation? And that's what I'm trying to help here. It's like, this is the way it works for me. This is the way I can help you. This is the way I can show you. And yeah, you should make sure that I'm legit. I'm not just lying. So I don't deal with athletes. Metaphor, athletes are welcome, but what I mean is, don't start saying, yeah, well, glycogen, the adenosine triphosphate in the Krebs cycle diminishes the oxidative capacity and energy production, and then a lowered metabolism, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not doing that. I use the metaphor of the alcoholic, because I do hear people, yeah, you know what, like the minute you stop keto, you put all the weight back. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people that were fat that tried every other way of eating, they came and they did keto and they got success. And then they decided, I'm just going to go back and eat exactly the same way. And then they're going to say, wow, every time I go off keto, I get fat again. So how is that keto's fault? It's like keto is very sustainable, in my opinion. So it's like an alcoholic, that says like, you know what? Yeah, I went on this, alcohol-free diet for my alcoholism, but you know what? Every time I go off and I start drinking alcohol again, the same side effects happen. So it's like this isn't true. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It's like a metaphor of quitting smoking also. Yeah, as you know, I'm not successful, but if you're you try and quit smoking, okay, well, you're going to be going through hell for a while, but once you get through the withdrawal period, that I'm not strong enough to do yet. Eventually, all of those cravings, they fade away and they disappear. And what do you have? You don't feel that it's restrictive anymore. You feel liberated. And I would say that ketogenic diet applies that way. We are addicted to food. We crave food that is unhealthy. And the minute that we take out what we were not made to eat, very quickly, we do not feel that eating a low carb or a ketogenic diet is restrictive. But yeah, so it's the point. It's like every time I go off keto, I get fat. It's like, yeah, exactly, because keto is like a much closer macronutrient division than what we're being told. So yeah, going keto, I lose weight and it works. Go off keto, I get all my weight back. Okay, so don't go off keto or stay very low carb. Is the ketogenic lifestyle sustainable? I said we do have records of what we ate before the diseases of modernity started. Example, Weston A. Price's research. And the fact that we call it low-fat, high-carb diet means that, well, what's that mean? It means prior to low-carb, high-fat, it was a higher fat and a much lower carb diet. And the only reason that we've been lied to. They want us to eat all of the different varieties and products and subsidized grains, and we're being lied to. It's really not that complicated, and the science of nutrition has been used against the people. All these scare tactics. It's linked to that, and it's associated with that. There's an increased risk of this. And it's like risk, link. Okay, these are statistical words. They don't prove that there's any cause from it. If you and this is what I like. So if you eat side dishes with carbs, let's say I'm having, having pork chop and some spaghetti, or I'm having, rice. It's like, oh yeah, you can eat the animal food, but as long as there's carbs beside it, that's balanced and sustainable. Even though it's like, well, what nutrients am I getting in those carbs besides pure energy that I might not need? Are there any nutrients and vitamins and stuff that I'm getting there that are not there? No. Oh, okay. So if I swap out the side dish and I just put like some broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts with a little butter or something, which is keto, um, is that bad? They're like, no, but keto is. What are you talking about? You eat pork chops, chicken, fish, tuna, cheese, eggs, whatever you want, and you can have some nuts, fruits in moderation, and you can have vegetables. Just stay away from the starchy vegetables during weight loss. Unsustainable, extreme diet may cause nutritional deficiencies. No, that is just straight out lies. So if you change side dishes for vegetable, it's not sustainable or something. Not sure. I would go as far as to make the bold claim that zero evidence that any animal sources of food cause disease. Zero. Okay. All they have are observational studies. And at best, if there's anything unhealthy about animal food, it's actually the how do they say it? It's the how, not the who, right? It's the animals that are being fed crap diets full of grain. So yeah, if this is a unbalanced, super restrictive diet where you can have nice steak here, Brussels sprouts, and seafood beside it, eggs. You put your vegetables if you're proud of vegetables. These are keto plates, but they're making it out to be a very extreme and unhealthy diet. To be honest, like these are beautiful pictures. Like really, I'm very impressed. I'm a simple guy. I'll just 5 eggs, salt, off I go. Open up a can of tuna fish, eat it, off I go. Like I'm not a fancy schmancy kind of guy, but this is keto. What's wrong with it? With having this a couple of times a week with side dishes? What's wrong with having eggs every day in the morning with some cheese and a handful of berries instead of Kellogg cornflakes with skim milk? Here we're looking at studies on the left, the diet intervention over here in the middle, and the outcomes. I'm going to just say first, second, third. So in the first study, they were doing 104 grams, 60, and 30 grams of carbs. And the protein was the same. And in all three of these groups, even at 100 and down to 30, there's a decrease in hunger felt in all three groups. With the 80 grams of carbs with unlimited protein and fat. Do you understand? So here we're doing a ketogenic diet. The calorie intake was lowered by a third, 30% lower. The thing is that they had unlimited allowance for protein and fat. They could have consumed twice the calories. This is what I'm saying. You do this. It is a human appropriate diet because everything falls in place. You don't even have to know what anything is. You just eat ample amounts of animal food, the best quality that you can get to satiety, and you eat when you're hungry, and you limit the carbohydrates, and everything falls into place. Your health improves. All of a sudden, you can fast like this. There's a lot of improvements. And this is really the way humans were eating, in the 1900s. They were eating, a lot less carbohydrates. And this is this century-old fad diet. You're unlimited fat and protein. It's stimulating the appropriate regulation. It's maintaining the appropriate regulation and stimulating the appropriate satiety hormones and pathways, mechanisms, whatever you want to call it. 21 and then 150 of protein and 160 of fat. The caloric intake was 950 fewer calories. Okay. Lost 2 kilograms in 14 days. Again, we're just showing here various low carbs, but you can go through and it's like decrease hunger, decrease body weight, decrease calorie, decrease hunger, decrease hunger and calorie, decrease cravings, hunger and appetite, decrease appetite. So anecdotally, I agree with that. And now we could say scientifically, there's something here. Okay. And these people that will say like, yeah, I know it does all these great things. It reverses diabetes and seems to help with lots of wide variety of diseases, especially mental illness and Alzheimer's. I know it's doing all that and is good and creates less inflammation and less oxidation and actually upregulates your mitochondria in your cell. But I don't know. I think it might kill you eventually. Sorry for my smugness. This is a good one that you can go watch in my archives. It's the single and only way to lose weight and maintain metabolism. Go check that. It talks about something very important: the maintenance of your metabolism. Eat less, move more, avoid cholesterol and fat, eat 65% of your calories as plants. All that stuff will ruin your metabolism. The Biggest Loser, there's a reason why there's no reunions. They destroyed their metabolism. And by doing that, you can destroy your metabolism up to 6 years. It could be affected. Food cravings and appetite control. I look like I have like a Donald Duck bill here. Horrible snapshot of the time. So this one focuses on how to maintain your metabolism. This one explains about carbohydrates and versus keto, how the carbs get food cravings, and how keto you can lose weight with appetite control, allowing you to do intermittent fasting. This is the question that's answered in 4 minutes. The title is Help. How can I have 300,000 calories stored on me and I'm hungry every 5 hours? Does that make sense? That we could have 1 pound of fat is around 3,000 to 3,500 calories. So just multiply, if you're 100 pounds overweight, 100 pounds times 3,500 calories, you'll see that, some people can have up to major obesity, 1 million calories, just right there, that the body's ready to use, but these people are starved and they're eating excessively because of the hormonal dysregulation. Your body is completely out of whack, and you're stuck with all of these calories of fat, yet you can't even last 5 hours, and you'll never access those. So day after day, a little over consuming, a lot over consuming, nothing to do for the sugar, no purpose there, fat. I'm hungrier, I'm hungrier. And this is a good video. These are all archived in my videos. Again, this is just I snapshot my Patreon page and stuff like that. So you can always go and just copy paste, or patreon.com, Jason Schwartz Nutrition. So if you're interested in joining the Patreon for weight loss, I'm there for you. I'll be there every day. It's $3.50 Canadian, $5 a month for Americans. It's also 1 week free. So if you want to take advantage of the 7-day free trial, you'll pop up. You can ask me all the questions. We can do a FaceTime if you want. And I can probably get you set up and you can quit before even having to give me $5. The minute you're there, boom, you got your one-on-one coach. Okay. You can also contact me at this email for other reasons. If anyone wants to collaborate with me, if somebody wants to contact me because they want to do a testimonial on Mondays, or if you want to do something in the morning, or something related to Christianity or World Economic Forum, transhumanism, all those things, any topic. If you feel like doing something with me, so I can mix things up and have some a variety of content, feel free to send me an email. That's it, guys. So that is done. Yeah, sure, I can save it. All right. Oh, cool. Bruce is here. Just going through. Wow, lots of. I'm speeding through. Yeah, my bro said he had a sore throat. Hey, Will. Hey, Rod. Hey, Kai. Thanks, guys, for supporting me and coming over, listening to the live stream. If ever you see somebody that might benefit from this, that's your instinct is saying, like, hey, this guy could benefit from keto. Hopefully, just send them my way. Is it bad to eat an entire pack of bacon at once? Because I do that pretty often. Look, is it bad? All right. There is that study that came out about colorectal cancer happening with red meat and processed red meats. That's pretty much, let's look at the bacon or the processed meats. Okay, that's one thing. The actual meat, that no gastroenterologist, I've spoken to them at the hospital. They're like, yeah, I went to a conference. It's an observational study. There's likely no cause or issue with that. What's wrong with bacon is, what people say about the preservatives and stuff like that. With the stuff that people usually eat, trying to demonize bacon, I'll usually eat the pack in 1 or 2 shots as well. If you're overweight and you are enjoying bacon and pounds are flying off of you, eat the bacon if you want. You can even have bacon that's not cured that way either. We get bacon here in Quebec that is just slices off the back of the neck. They're not salted. There's nothing. It's just like that. So look, am I going to advocate that? Oh yeah, it's great. It's ideal. There's nothing wrong with the preservatives and stuff like that. I can't say that, but I mean there are people that had huge successes with bacon. Made my pants fall off. One guy, and I know Kai, you've been open about your illness and stuff like that. And if eating this way is keeping you leaner, and you're getting cravings or something with the medication that you're taking, that's an issue. And bacon gets you away from eating a whole just bowl of sugar in the corner, in the middle of the night, crying in your shower, just binging on sugar. Go ahead with the bacon. In my opinion, I don't have any big issues with bacon. It's like people are gonna literally. Everyone is shopping the middle section of the grocery store with stuff that's literally killing them, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, but let's demonize the processed meats and stuff like that." I don't know. I have no problem with it. All right, just scrolling through. So Rod is asking about the avocado oil. Okay, so on the bottle of avocado, often it'll show that it has a higher smoke point if you're using it to cook with, right? So olive oil, avocado, and coconut, technically not unhealthy. they're not like the seed oils. They're healthy fats or healthy oils, in my opinion. The problem is, if you're looking at, it's harder with the coconut oil, but if you're looking at olive oil and avocado, you have no idea if that company is tainting it with the other oils. And that's my hesitancy. Also, if you would use that, I would use it like on salads or something like that. I would never heat any of the oils. I would go after even butter. Even butter turns brown. Don't waste butter. But it's a better option. I usually buy rendered duck fat. There's a ghee. There's tallow. If you're keeping the bacon fat that solidifies, you're keeping it clean, and you're going to use it in the next day, couple of days, maybe 2 days or 3. You can keep that bacon fat and reuse it. Maybe you can even use it longer, but 2-3 days, I feel confident in saying. So no, there's nothing wrong with avocado oil. The problem is you're not sure if you are getting it. But in and of itself, I have no problem with it. It's just I don't trust the companies. All week I've been eating till nearly gagging and doing intense strength building. Keeps me from thinking a lot. Gonna become a mountain in a tiny car. That's good. I already can't keep my arms bent too long, or everything past the elbow goes to sleep. Kai says, trimmed up the belly, and I've got tiny sag on each side of my belly button. That's cute. Hey, G Legend, man. How are you? Miss you. It's been a while. Rod R. I think I mentioned you, buddy. And Bruce sees all. Hey, all. XOX, thumbs up. Is done. See you next Monday. Love you too, Bruce. Yeah, so I didn't want to give too much of an update on Bruce. I even told him on the phone. I was like, no, don't tell me. I said, keep it for a surprise for next stream. Yep. To my clothing that I wore. Bruce says, yeah, he's into my clothing that I wore when I was 22. So I can't wait to get an update. But nope, we're not doing it. Don't want to know anything. We want it to be a surprise. Got to make something interesting for next week. I had to make all this content because Bruce wasn't coming on today. I was like, are you serious? I'm like, I actually have to have something to say now. But I never let myself down. I'm never without words, we could say. Going through. Yeah, I mean, I'm the one sitting here with, I should have the dunce hat for shame, it's like, yeah, so this guy, he does keto stream every Monday and stuff like that, for health, but he's always spraying that nicotine in his mouth and stuff like that, talking about a horrible example of a person. And yeah, he looks like he's a chipmunk. Looks like he has chipmunks. He could lose even weight. What a horrible channel this is. That's how I'm feeling. All right. And I think I'm almost there. No cap locks. All right, guys. So it's already past the hour and a half. I pulled it off. Bruce ain't coming on. I don't know what I'm going to talk about today. What do? I pass it by half an hour, and yeah, kudos. All right, guys. So I'm out of here. All right. I'm trying to stay disciplined. I'm not doing 3-hour things anymore. All right. I'm already half an hour past. So love you. God bless, and stay safe, and keep your eye out for people that can benefit from the weight loss and the health improvements that you have received. And I hope to get Bruce on here. I hope so far seems like everything's a go for next week. And anybody else that has a testimony, anybody else that has experience with this, we would love to have you on the panel. And if I have a lot of people to speak, then I don't have to do a little teaching. We can just have an open panel discussion. See ya.